But we look good, I think.
We great minds. Great minds think alike. This has been the moment I have been waiting for.
Immediately knows.
For what? To have the mic.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Okay, really?
I'm so proud of
That
you.
was flawless.
What is going on?
Yeah, like that, yeah.
I should have had a green room for you.
You should
These
have.
are the guests that needed a green room and an agent.
Don't worry, the craft table is sufficient.
Hey, we haven't signed release forms, guys.
Yes, you have.
This show
So,
will not air.
so I'm just saying my lawyer
Whose
is
idea
ready.
was this? Let me just get it.
The real divas have arrived.
Anything else?
Your makeup artist?
You need touch-ups. Stephen Koza, you didn't get me. You didn't collect me at the door when I came here.
Not.
The first time we did this, it was okay. We decided never to do it again. Salam and hello, everyone. Thank you for an incredible 2023. Before we let you go for the holidays, would you give us a gift? Would you like, subscribe, or share the show? Everything we do really depends on our beautiful listeners, and you have created such an incredible year for us. Every comment, every like, every engagement has meant the world to me and to the team. So as we go into 2024, we would love it if you would take a moment, go onto Spotify, Apple, wherever you consume the content, like it, follow it, and then please share it. Hit that little share arrow, send it to your cousins, send it to your friends, to your moms, to your kids. Share the show with them. It means the world. It makes all the difference for us. And as you go into the holidays, we wish you peace, we wish you joy, and we wish you abundant love from the entire Selam and Hello family. This is Selam and Hello, where stories of joy and justice vibrate with the rhythm of Africa and the diaspora.
We're worried, anxious group of people trying to move along. Maybe one day we'll get onto something. Until then, we say, hold on. I know it's hard, but baby, you just got to.
Salam and hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Lilly Piper, and today I have some friends with me co-hosting, collaborating, and conversing on the show. Please help me welcome my producers, Becky. Are you a one name woman, like last name, or just Becky?
No, my second name is so powerful.
It's so powerful.
You have
Becky
to say
Muikia?
Yeah, Muikia.
Muikia. I
Yes.
believe that's what I said.
Yes, you
roll
try.
the tape, Stephen.
say
Becky
it.
Muikia. I believe I said Muikia. Anywho, and Rahma, Seif joining me. These are the producing team that make the magic magical. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
We thought it would be really fun at the end of the season to get together, reflect on the year. We have this year put together, let me count. I think it will be 46 episodes together. 46.
Can you
Imagine that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this episode is going to be all the behind the scenes, planning, crying, hoping, working that has brought you this season, 2023 of Salam and Hello. So first, let me start with a vote of thanks, as we say here in this our Kenya, a vote of thanks for both of you. You have been truly foundational rocks, friends, collaborators, beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Let
Thank
me
you,
start
Lily.
with that. Thank you.
Thank
It's meant
you.
so much to me.
It's
Yeah.
been an honor and a pleasure.
Oh, thank
What
you for
she
saying that.
said, 100%.
Well, and thank you for agreeing to come on the behind the scenes, because I have asked more than once.
Did we agree?
And you have said no more than once.
We are here, but did we agree?
In the
Listen,
words
it's-
of Oprah, were you silent? Or were you silent?
You see, this woman was meant for a mic. Look at her.
For sure.
I'm shy. But she came with the
words of Oprah.
With the words of Oprah today. So 46 episodes this year. Let's maybe start with our origin story, how we met and connected. Sometimes it's helpful for people to know that saying, also how the sausage gets made. Have you heard that saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did this sausage come to be, Becky, in your mind? When you look back, how did this all come to be?
So I had accompanied a good friend of mine, DJ Mose, for a meeting that he was having with you. And I was coming with my own ulterior motives.
Really?
Yes.
What was your motive?
So there's this show that we'd been shopping around and we needed some connects in the development space. And they said, I have the perfect person, but I'm meeting her for something different. So you have to come for this meeting and you have to help me get this meeting done.
Oh my goodness.
Then we'll sort you out.
And imagine she was never sorted.
I was like, say less. Let's go.
Aww.
So we came for the meeting and it was really awesome. Loved meeting you. I was so in awe of everything you wanted to do. And you and I just connected.
We did.
In fact, it felt like Mose was the third wheel in that conversation.
By the end, we were like,
Mose, we love you.
Yeah, can we get you a cup of tea for your trouble?
Yeah. And so then I was like, okay, so y'all are going to make this happen. And you were like, make this happen. You are a part of this sausage. That's how the sausage
I was
happened.
like, Karibu sausage, making time. That's exactly right. At that Java house, when everything changed. That was now actually, even though we have put episodes out in 2023, that was 22.
Yes, towards the end of 22.
End of 22.
Yeah.
I was leaving my job, wanted to focus on this full time, and
Yes.
Mose and I were friends. And
Our friends.
what did I say?
We're friends.
Sorry again, Mose. This
Roll
turned
tape.
into
Mose, roll tape.
Let's take it from the top, guys. Let's try that again.
Our friends. In fact, I was just with his family yesterday, not him, but his family. So yes, we are friends.
So, and Rahma works with me at Sahihi.
Yeah.
And she came on and she became the larger-than-life producer that this show needed.
Really did.
So then I was out of a job.
Yes. No, never. But I remember Rahma, I remember the first time we met. Do you remember the first time we met?
I want to say yes, but like I feel like I see you almost every day, so it's kind of all a blur. A blur at this point.
I think it was on Zoom or like online. We didn't meet in person the first time.
I
It was on the call.
remember.
Yes.
I made a
Yeah.
I made a presentation, right?
Exactly.
Right. I remember. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
came through and was like, this is how we see this
Yeah.
coming together and happening.
Yes.
And I was like, who is this magical woman behind the screen?
Oh,
Rahma magic.
Rahma magic. And then, here she is.
Here I am.
In 3D.
Yeah, it was. I think I remember hearing about the show, hearing about the concept, and it just sounded like something that we needed to jump on. And I'm so glad that, you and Becky fell in love.
This partnership was
making
solidified.
making that sausage, Sahihi were all about Spark Joy projects, and this was definitely one of them.
100.
Yeah,
Sparked joy.
Yeah, I feel like every time we're done recording an episode, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing some good work here.
Yeah.
That's beautiful to hear. That's all we can hope, at least for us, that our listeners feel the same and that we feel it in the process. Sahihi Productions, tell us what Sahihi is. It's so important that I shine a spotlight on who you are, because I often say we, and people think it's just me. And it was just me for a long time, 30 plus episodes. And that was so hard. And it wasn't producing what I wanted. And so I knew in order for this to actually get to where I wanted it to be, I needed people who were like-minded, like-spirited, like you said, Rahma.
Yeah.
So tell us who Sahihi is and what you're doing.
I really want Rahma to do this. It helps when you hear someone else say what you're doing and you're like, are we doing the right thing?
Well,
No pressure.
too much pressure right now. I'm like, okay, what are my talking points? Elevator pitch. But yeah, no, Sahihi is a production company and also a communications agency. We'd like to think of ourselves as a communication hub. And our whole thing is that we like to share stories from the continent, amplify those stories, and, share African narratives using African voices, owning our stories in whichever way that might be on a podcast, might be on a movie, might be on a TV show, might be through a marketing campaign, but we just really like to amplify African voices at Sahihi. I feel like, did I get it right?
She's so hired.
She's so hired. I
Did I
think
get
it's
it
time for
right?
a raise. Hello.
Lily has been saying this for like forever.
I know. I'm like, dear Becky, how are you today? Please give us my raise.
You guys heard that? It's on
Roll
camera.
tape again.
It's on camera.
The way this thing is going to expose us, this episode is just for us, actually.
Yeah.
So if people need support in developing a podcast, a creative event, a campaign of some sorts, a film,
Strategy, creative ideation.
We're your guys, yeah.
Yeah.
we're your gals.
We are your girls. And we're a babe squad,
Yes, you are.
unapologetic.
There we go. There we go. In fact, we're missing one of our babes today.
Yeah.
So hi, Njoki.
Hi, Njoki.
We appreciate you
Njoki.
wherever you are.
She's our digital babe, and she's a force all on her own.
Yeah, she's
She
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is, yeah. Okay, so Sahihi and Selam got together. We started putting out episodes. At what point in the year do you think that you felt like, okay, I am not just like helping Lilly do this, but does feel like we are cohesively together producing this? You know what I mean? Like I was saying we, but I think until a certain point, I felt like it's just me and they're helping me do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I
yeah.
hired a contractor to help me finish a project as opposed to, waking up thinking about it or
I
going
hear
to
you.
bed
Yeah.
really troubled by something.
I don't know if there's a point. I think it just kind of naturally happened, and the more you work on the show, the more you kind of just you own it. We're creating something amazing. It's an incredible show, and even us working on it, we start feeling like I want ownership of this. I want to claim it and see this through and make this thing as big as it can be. So I wouldn't say that there was a point where we're like, oh, we booked this guest or, oh, we've, hit this number of episodes that it happened. It was just kind of like consistently seeing that we're doing good work and that we want to keep doing it. And that
How
just
else
kind
can
of
we amplify?
and that just became the thing. It became just as much our project as it is yours.
Yeah. And it definitely has felt that way because when you look at podcasting as an industry, there's a statistic that on iTunes, on Apple, which not necessarily a lot of people in Africa use, but globally it's the hub. So there are about 4 million podcasts, but only 96% of them have not had more than 10 episodes, nor have they produced something in the last week. So Selam Hello, we're part of the 4% that has more than 10 episodes and has consistently put out an episode every week.
Every week.
Yeah, I feel very proud of that. And like you said, Rahma, that's because of this, you guys have owned it. I think otherwise it wouldn't have happened. But considering what you said about booking guests and, growing the listenership and all that, what moment felt like a big win for you, Becky, as we were starting to roll this baby out in the first half of the year or so?
A big win. Yeah. When we did the Sajda and Amin episode, that episode changed everything for me. And it wasn't because we had booked the biggest celebrities. It was in the depth of the conversation, the justice pieces that we were ticking. So our show is all about joy and justice. And it felt like we were ticking all of the boxes. The joy was there, the justice pieces were ticked, and it was such amazing conversation. I wanted everyone and anyone in my sphere to consume that content. And I was like, we have to keep doing more of this. And I think for me, for the longest, that has been the flagship show in my head, that I'm like, we didn't have the most famous of personalities, but the conversation, top tier. The passion in the work that they're doing, top tier. The commitment to legacy and impact in what they're doing, which in effect made me want to be a part of that legacy and impact. Tick,
Top
tick,
tier.
tick, tick. I was just like,
Yeah.
yo.
That was a good one. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rahma, how about for you?
I think, excuse me, I think I have I can think of 3 episodes. First, Arsema Thomas. That was the moment I was like, wow, okay, this is,
Behold.
this, all hail, Queen, Queen Arsema.
Yeah.
It was incredible. She's extremely brilliant, but also just such a talented actress and somebody who's had such a huge platform to be on our platform. I felt like that was a major win. Second was Idioma's episode, and that was because that was the first live event we had as part of, with us as part of the team. And it was just amazing to see what we were able to do and achieve together as a team. So that I feel like was also an incredible moment for me. And the last one was Alaba's episode. And that's because Alaba is she's my girl, she's my friend, and I love her. And it was just, it just made me aware of, oh, look, this is, I'm using my skill set to amplify her skill set. And, we're just two African babes in the world. And look at us just doing the thing and making it happen. And I was also super proud of that episode. And I was also just super proud of the messaging and the reception that it had. So I think those are the 3 episodes that kind of stand out to me, and it's also kind of interesting that they're all women, but
Pan-African women. I'm just
Pan-African
thinking,
women, yeah.
These are Sudanese guests, Sajjanami,
Yeah.
Nigerian, Ethiopian, Nigerian, Zambian.
Exactly.
That makes me very proud to like see that too.
Yeah. So it was just those 3 episodes really kind of were highlights for me this season. Yeah.
Are you gonna ask? Thank you.
Lilly, Bekele Piper.
That was quick. Yeah, I didn't give you a chance,
Host
really.
of Selam and Hello, executive producer, Madam.
Well, thank you, Bex. You hear these people, like musicians being asked this, what's your favorite album? And they were like, that's like picking your favorite kid. And like, yeah, but everybody has a favorite child. So, just kidding, kids. But, I just was hearing all of you talk, and I was really grateful again for those conversations, which brings me home to how personal this work is for me. And it's very much been a conduit of, I hope, what I try and live. So probably for me, my favorite episodes have probably been the one that I did with my husband, Ben, and then my daughters, because I got to see a different side of them as well. I'd never interviewed Ben before. I'd never interviewed my daughters in a formal capacity. They have been interviewed, but not for the purposes of a show. So I don't know. I really loved what I learned, and it made me think more deeply about myself and this work and trying to be authentic, trying to be real.
Yeah.
And that's harder than I thought it was going to be on camera. Like even now talking to you, I'm very much present with what you're saying, but I'm aware of the mic, right? I'm aware of the camera. So when my kids were on with me and my husband, oh my gosh, and the way my girls humbled me, dear Lord, they really started saying things. I was like, hiya, cut, edit, But anyway, but it was good. It stretched me. It stretched me. Yeah.
And your episode with your husband was actually one of our best performing episodes.
Which was a surprise. I was surprised by that. So, but in a pleasant way.
It resonated well with people.
It did. And he's a wonderful speaker, and I loved what he had to say about the continent and the potential here. So So those are kind of finished products that we get to enjoy, or even in the process get to enjoy. But there's been certainly a lot behind the scenes. Yeah. That's why this is a behind the scenes episode that has also stretched us. So so on the flip of this, what moments rise to the top for you, or episodes or guests or issues that came up this year that were a challenge?
I think I would say that the biggest challenge has been, like you said, we released an episode every week since the beginning of the year, apart from the time where we took a little break and we had the best of series. But definitely maintaining that consistency is, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of sometimes some late nights, but we get it done and we do it and we keep doing it.
And we have no control over technology, and sometimes technology doesn't love us. So there'll be times when you think you have bagged your best production and it was a virtual production, or one where we had the cameras but there was a glitch we weren't able to detect with the cameras, or we come back to look at the virtual product and we are all clutching pearls, pulling hairs. So there have been moments where it's been touch and go. Where you even question this thing that we say we are good at. Are we? And are we really putting our best foot forward if we keep having some of these challenges presenting themselves? But that's the one thing that's constant in life. And it's how we've been able to come together as a team and power through those moments that I think has made us stronger, not just as an output of the product that we put out there, but even as a team, where one person is strong, someone else lets them take that on. Where one person isn't able to take it on because it's not exactly their strength, then the team will jump in. And for sure, we have become a unit. And I see it coming out even when we have meetings where we pick up from each other. That conversation ends, Njoki picks up on that end, Lilly picks up, I'll chime in, Rahma concludes.
Absolutely.
So there have been challenges, but I want to say that some of those challenges have also made us better as a team.
I agree. I've been surprised in doing this. I think I've said this to you at least, Becky, that when we started this project, I thought I was just making content, like the creative process, like
Yeah.
what conversations do we need to have? And, I read a lot. So from novels to the news. So I was looking at headlines, topics, what's resonating, what are people feeling? Then I realized, oh, we're actually launching a business. This is actually a business.
Big
and that's
facts.
a very different kind of approach. You
Yeah.
can't just be creative and be like, this is moving me today. No.
Yeah.
There's invoices, there's contracts.
Way.
And, I'll be very honest and I also appreciate our technical partners, K-Crew. Do you want to come on camera and say hi or no? Yes? Oh, you're just behind. Okay, they're behind the
gave
scenes.
a
They put the
thumbs up.
behind and the behind the scenes. We started with them at the beginning of the year. As you mentioned, our friend Mose and Stephen here on set today with Weena and Xavier as well. So hi, guys, and thank you. We started with them at the beginning of the year. We did several episodes with them. I can't remember, maybe 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I just felt like, you know what? This is not hitting what I needed to hit, whether it was a deadline or a technical aspect. So we changed course. We went to another partner. That one had some gaps.
Yeah.
Then we went to another partner.
Yeah.
That wasn't the right fit, or they couldn't do the whole like A to Z part, pre and post,
360.
all that. So now we're back with K-Crew since September. And I see that as my own lack of understanding that this is a business. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you are creating content, that's great. But a lot of people times for creative productions, you have somebody who's the creative person, the business person, the chief operating officer. And we've all worn, I think, every hat at some point. We've been the business person, or we've been the operating person, or we've been the creative person. All of us have attended meetings with potential partners or with guests. And I think I wish I had just stuck with them from the start to the finish, because we would have grown together through that process of understanding what it is, as opposed to me thinking you're just here to deliver a product, if that makes sense.
100.
So a lot of growth in that, and I appreciate their willingness to re-engage with us. And we put out a request for proposals. We had multiple, including K-Crew, and they were still the best. And so I'm really grateful, for K-Crew and their commitment and patience with us as we also grew and tried to figure out what in the world are we trying to do up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here we
Still
are.
figuring it
We're
out.
still figuring it out. But 70, I don't know what episode this will be, 75 or 76, maybe 78 even. And then we started bonus content.
Way.
And then we started mixed drinks with our
Yeah.
friend Julie Githiri Goko.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been busy. And I'm grateful
Yeah.
for the team that's kind of stuck with us.
Yeah. They're good
sure.
people.
We're good peeps. Okay, so Rahma, on the team, when something is in crisis, like, wow, we're on deadline, this thing needs to be done in the next 30 minutes, which of our team members are you most likely to go to for calm reassurance?
Okay, I was like, I thought you're gonna be like, which of the team members were you gonna call? Say, I call myself to the table.
She
I'd like to
does.
thank me
Unless you think me.
for being me at all times.
No. I kid. Calm reassurance. I feel like both Becky and Njoki are
Lilly.
yeah. No, I feel like
Yeah,
Becky.
okay.
I know I am.
I feel like Becky and Njoki are both super calm, but in different ways. I feel like Becky will give you a game plan, a strategy. Like, okay, this is what we need to do. Da 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 da. Njoki, on the other hand, will be like, take a breather, step back, step away from the ledge, think about it, take a deep breath, and then let's process this. How can we manage this? Yeah. So I think it depends on what I'm looking for. If I need somebody to just kind of, calm me down, then I'll go to Njoki. If I need somebody to give me a solution at the same time, I'll be like, Bex, where are you? Yeah.
But you're calm though too.
She is.
What does a frazzled Rahma look like?
She doesn't look like, she doesn't look frazzled. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. No, she doesn't. I definitely panic on the inside. I don't let it, show. And then also I know that when I'm panicking, nothing good is coming out of it. So I'm just like, okay. My my strategy is always break it down into bite-sized pieces, tackle it one piece at a time until you get to the end. Yeah.
That's good.
So if that fails me, then of course I need Becky or Njoki or whoever. But yeah, usually it's very much like, it's okay, we'll figure it out. What's the thing that we can handle right now?
So let me take you back to a time where we had a crisis, and I want to hear your thought process on this. So you're right. Ijeoma Kola, Dr. Ijeoma, hi girl, it was our first live show that we had public tickets for, and we sold online tickets as well as in person. It was really wonderful at Beit Selam in September. But before that, in June, we did have another live show here in the studio, and we had a guest booked. We had prepped questions. So we had sent the questions to the guest, as we always do. We research and send questions to our guests at least 48 hours in advance. We had advertised for all of the audience. We had about 30 people in person in the studio. We had advertised to them who it was, so they were excited to hear this person. And then 2 hours before the show, the guest was like, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to make it. Take me back to Rahma at that time and how you managed kind of that moment.
I think... I'm trying to remember what exactly I did. It feels like a blur because I was just like, okay.
Because I remember I did not know.
Yes. I remember when I came to you, I was like, this has happened and this is the solution on the table and this is what we're going with. Yeah. So actually what's funny is that this situation played out is exactly as I have everybody's personality kind of shines through in the exact way I have described just now. Because I remember being super stressed out and I'm like, okay, bite size, what can I do? So I start calling. I'm like, we're looking for a backup guest. Do you have anyone in mind? And
who did you call for that?
I remember I reached out to Eric at Sticks and Stones at the time, and he was just like, do you guys really have no one else? And I was like, we don't. But at the same time, it wasn't a given at this point that our guest wasn't going to make it. So I was anticipating that this was going to happen.
But
so
that's maddening because people are coming, food is ready, it's warming, I'm getting makeup on.
Exactly.
And the guest is giving us like a kind of unsure.
Exactly.
We're like, we have to decide. We have to do something.
I was definitely like, let me find a backup just in case it doesn't make it. Njoki came in at that time, and so I started talking to her about it, and she was just like, okay, I think maybe we can reach out to this person or reach out to this person, but I'm like, I don't know how
hours, like 90 minutes.
We need a quick time. We need quick turnaround time on this thing. So I called Becky, and Becky's like, I feel like our guest is gonna make it, but if not, who do you guys have in mind? And Njoki had mentioned her partner. Becky was like, immediately book Njoki's partner just in case. And I was like, you're right. So I talked to Njoki. Njoki reaches out to her partner, and he says, Jo is able to make it, and he's more than happy to do it, obviously. And we're so thankful.
He was so awesome.
Thankful. Yeah. It was such an amazing recording. But I remember my thought process was like, who can I call? I was happy that I looped in both Njoki and Becky into this conversation, because otherwise I'd have just been like pulling my hair in the garden, like, I'm going to be the guest.
Let me put my own hair before Lilly pulls it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the guest.
What am I going to talk about?
Worst case scenario, I'm going to be the guest.
Worst case scenario, I'll be like, I've been producing this for X amount of months, so talk to me, But then, and that's where the solution came from. And when I came to talk to Lilly, you're getting your makeup done, and you're just like, I was like, okay, this is what we've done. This is what happened. This is what we've done, and we're good. And it happened. We had to now create a new brief for the guest right there on the spot 2 hours before the recording happened. But honestly, it ended up being one of my favorite episodes.
Same. Yeah. And that's a huge credit to Jean, to Stan Mizani. So thank you, Jean. But also just the prep of the team. And I think the different skill sets the team has, from solution to calm to just creatively approaching it. I think you even said as you approached me, oh, your makeup looks good. I was like, okay. And then she was like, so don't panic. Just a little change of, thing. I was like, okay. But literally not having a guest is the worst thing that can happen to a podcast.
Of course.
Technically.
Especially a live recording.
Especially a live one when you've told people such and such will be here.
Yeah.
But it worked out really beautifully. We had a beautiful conversation nonetheless. Yeah. Becky, what for you behind the scenes event? There have been so many. And I think part of it has been sometimes the pull of your other projects, your personal life, and then this weekly thing that's still this machine that has to churn out. So I'm going to take you to our very first episode of the year. I don't know if you remember it. Very first episode was with Abdi Latif Tahir.
Oh, you mean our first episode?
With the East African correspondent for the New York Times. So do you remember when we were recording that? It was like New Year's Eve, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was wild. We recorded and edited this. I'm sure Stephen remembers.
Yeah.
I think he rang in 2023 in the editing booth on that event.
Yeah.
But talk to me about how you manage our personal needs as people, because you know, are the head of Sahihi and also the kind of constant demand. Because even if we're taking a holiday or someone else it's a, you know, government holiday, the show is expected to come out because our listeners are all over the
100.
world. So
Yeah.
how do you manage some of those pressures, in particular at the beginning of the year when we were all still getting to know each other?
So I'm very big on constantly reminding myself that I have a team, but the team is composed of people and people have stuff happening in their lives. This was the new year. It was a new team. I knew that our technical partners had just come off of a big end of year party. I've worked with them closely in the past, so I know how strenuous those last weeks before the event are and how at the end of the event, people just want to decompress. But we'd been having conversations constantly. And I will take care of you if you take care of me. So I will do what needs to be done, but don't drop the ball, because if the ball is dropped, you've dropped it on all of us. My priority was making sure that you were the host, the tech were tech, and the production were production. Rahma has a young family. So everyone just coming together and ensuring that we do what needs to be done, take care of what we can for the person that isn't able to in that moment, so that the show goes on. I have a Swahili saying, heri punda ikufe, lakini mzigo ifike. Now we don't want the punda to die. In translation is, the donkey can die while doing the job, but the job must get done. In this case, I don't want any of the donkeys to die, but the job will get done.
Yes.
Bottom line, the job will get done. And if it can get done and we are all happy with what we're doing, happy in the environment we're creating, happy with the end product. And this was a virtual recording. So virtual recordings are usually our toughest
Yeah, they are.
to pull through. Surprisingly, they should be the easiest piece, but they're usually the ones where the audio won't audio, the light would light, the lighting won't be lighting, something just goes off. But with every fast output, I'm also always just running on the adrenaline and excitement of we're creating something so magical. What will it turn out like? And I'm so glad that was our first one.
Yeah.
His conversation was amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We were excited on the call. We did it. We were like, we did it. On to the next.
On to 45 more. Imagine.
And once you have that first one off the gate, it just reassures you that we can do hard things and we can do hard things together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I was just remembering when you were talking about how hard virtual ones are. It's really true. Even though we had the whole pandemic to get the virtual communication thing sorted as a globe, it is still hard to get good audio, lighting. Even we've had time differences twice. I remember we had a guest in Zambia once and once in the US, where just the time, the US one, the time had just changed the day before.
Yeah.
Because of the daylight
savings.
Yeah.
And of course, in Kenya, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So then we have a guest who's like not ready at the time we thought, and we want to honor our guest time. And
or the video looks good while we're recording.
Yes.
And then it comes back and it's super compressed. It's grainy.
Yeah.
Or someone's orientation. My gosh.
I mean, even having guests from all over the world, poses its own challenges. Because, you have to take into considerations, like you said, timing, how internet connectivity, where is in that country that they're in, where are they? Are they in the capital city or are they somewhere more remote or, so there's a lot of things that go into the planning for all of it. And there's definitely curveballs that come out of nowhere, especially on recording days. I don't understand why they don't come the day before, but
always on the day
always on the day of.
Do you guys remember Mugambi's recording?
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yes.
Where?
Yes.
Yeah.
That show stretched us.
Yeah.
And he's in
Mugambi.
town.
Yeah.
He's in town. I think it's actually that recording that made us think, okay, if they're in Nairobi, we will rather just do it on a Friday morning, Sunday night, than to do it virtually.
Yes.
Because those have been some of our toughest were the Nairobi. Because Abdi was also, I think, he was in Nairobi at the time. I was in Kenya as well. And
We
Yeah.
could have
So
had
hard.
him.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
times did we drop off Mugambis before we decided?
gosh.
I can't remember.
At least 3 or 4
It was
times.
just, and what's funny is that Mugambi actually had equipment for his sound.
Yeah.
He was like very well conversant with how the whole recording online goes, but still the thing was not thinking.
Not thinking
At all, but
yeah,
he was
it's
so
internet,
gracious.
I think, right? Yeah, that day.
Yeah.
And we've had so many, problem solving. After an episode like that, then our next meeting is like, okay, how do we fix it for next time? So we thought, okay, we need to send guest bundles. We need to send guest mics or have is it called a runner or somebody who's takes the mic to somebody? There's a term for that journalists use. They send the mic to the audio guest or whatever. I mean, we thought of all these things, and then in the end, we just said, nope. We're just going to bring them to studio.
Yeah.
That's it. If they're in Nairobi, they need to come to studio.
Yeah.
One of my things that I remember as being a blooper, again, didn't know it at the time until I saw it on screen. Another virtual was Arsema Thomas that we recorded somewhere in August, September. And she's an actor, so I wanted to look similarly lovely on screen as actors are known to be. So they came on the show very natural. They were no makeup, clean-faced, beautiful. I, on the other hand,
Come on.
full makeup, 20 minutes of makeup on my
Come
face.
on.
And the crowning glory were some magnetic eyelashes that I applied myself. So we do the interview, and about halfway through the interview, it just started to feel like this was happening on my face. Like this, and I could feel myself doing this, and then I was like, I can't do this. This is a world-renowned actor. I need to pull it together. Then I saw the tape. I think I actually got mad at the team. I was like, you guys should have told me. My eyes literally were like this. She would ask a question, and I'd be like, that is so fascinating. Thank you so much. My next question, and I would go down. It was so bad. If you look at that tape, it is so bad. So since that time, that was the last time I did my own eyelashes.
Said no more lashes.
No more lashes from Lilly. No more lashes from Lilly. I started asking for help in that department. That was so bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because we're recording it virtually, we're watching it, nothing
It
seems
looks okay.
amiss. Yeah, everything looks fine. And then
The way your feelings will be hurt. And then Steven sends you that first cut.
Yeah. We
Can
had
we
a
please
wardrobe
make
malfunction.
Can we
Yeah.
please make sure we cut in that clip somewhere here within this conversation? We need the lashes.
Guys,
That and the wardrobe malfunction.
During
The one
Gado's
that we
episode.
okayed from the office over
yes,
there.
that was...
Yeah.
But when Lily sat here, none of us were catching it from there until Steven sends the tape. We're like, yo,
Yeah.
we know how this one is going down.
Yeah, you knew that. I was going to be like, hi, Bex. How are you this morning?
I see it.
Yeah,
I see it. I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And the thing is, when podcast started, it was audio products. So if you look at my first 37 episodes, I think I did maybe a handful where I had an audience live. So maybe 3, maybe max.
Yeah.
The rest are all audio. You don't have to look pretty. You don't have to be dressed up. You just have to have good audio.
Yeah.
Now the whole podcast world is basically a vlog. Everybody's vlogging, essentially, is what it is. And so now the pressure to do hair, makeup, clothing, and nothing like aging on screen. That's a lot of fun. Let me just tell you that. That could be its own podcast called Aging on Screen by Lilly Bakana Piper. I'm telling you. So anyway, keeps you humble for sure.
Yeah.
What has this year taught you? What have you learned from one of our episodes, our guests, or just the process of putting this show together?
I would say that, if you keep doing the work, it'll pay off. And if you stay true to the vision, then it'll definitely, it shows in the work. I think we've definitely had meetings where we're toying with the idea of having a guest on, and we always keep asking ourselves, does this speak to our values? Is it justice oriented? Is it joy oriented? Is it going to add? Is it going to delight our listeners? I know this is something we keep saying in every meeting. Is this going to delight our listeners? And sometimes the answer is no, and we keep it moving. And sometimes we're like, this is exactly what we need. Or also even just with like the episode with Irungu on the conflict. I mean, the situation in Palestine right now and Israel. It took us, we definitely had to sit down and, ask ourselves, what do we want to do with this episode? What do we want it to say? What do we want people to come out of this with? And it was important for us to speak on it. It could have been very easy for us to kind of just say, you know what, we don't know enough about it. We're kind of worried about what it might do to the brand or its image, but at the end of the day, we stayed true to our values. We said that justice needs, if we can't call ourselves a podcast that highlights stories of joy and justice and then turn a blind eye when such atrocities are happening in the world. So I think that's been my biggest takeaway. Stay true to who you are, hold your values close to you, and also just kind of keep doing the work. Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that, because it's not easy. It would be actually easier for us just to say, Rahma, what'd you do on Friday night?
Exactly.
Becky, what are you buying this season? What do you wear? Like, it'd be much easier to go a little bit shallow.
Yeah.
Not to say that there's not a place. I watch a lot of content that's all about what am I wearing and where am I going, But that's not who we are. That's not who Selam Hello is.
Yeah.
And there have been so many times where taking the time to research a topic or have a guest is stretching us, either time-wise or emotionally. And that having that North Star, I think you're right, is so important. Otherwise, we'll just be making anything willy-nilly for ourselves,
Yeah.
Let me pause here really quickly because I hear the background noise. Do you hear the background noise? We're good? We keep going? Oh, okay. I think my son was playing music.
Oh, is that what that was?
I think so. I'm not sure.
We like his music.
We do.
We use his music in our opening.
Yes, look at the transition. Come through with the transition statement. Yes, so thank you, Silas, for our opening jingle. We do really love that song.
Yeah.
Na, 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 X group of people. I'm not really sure what he's saying at all of that jingle, but I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Silas. Becky, what about for you? What is the show or this year taught you creatively or professionally or otherwise?
That who you have around you when you're creating something so personal, so tasking on every aspect of your creativity and strategy is very important. I highly suspect if we had the wrong people around us during this process, we wouldn't have gotten as far as we have.
Yeah.
It's the personalities, the tenacity, the grit, the willingness to go over and above that has gotten us this far and that will get us even further. So the people that you have in your corner rooting for you and working with you are very important.
Yeah, that's so true. And I was talking earlier about the changes with technical support. And I should actually appreciate everyone who's helped us throughout this process. A huge appreciation to Sticks and Stones, to Snowball, who have hosted our episodes and helped produce it. Everybody was meeting us where we were and trying to contribute. And then at times we were like, that's not necessarily the direction we want to go. Or even set-wise, right? The first half of the year, we didn't have a set.
Yeah.
We were just kind of filming where we could.
And trying to figure out what we needed to bring to make it more like us.
Exactly. Yeah. We're bringing in plants, we're bringing artwork, we're bringing in throws. And then eventually we said, okay, let's just be, it's also cheaper and also available to us. Let's just have a studio that's
cute.
Available to
Hello, yellow piano.
Hello. This is actually, people are asking me about this.
Yes.
That's true. Thank you. In fact, Love Artisan, we're sitting on some of their chairs today, but if you watch this show regularly, it's actually our teal chairs, the Habibi chairs, that they have partnered with us to give us. And so we're so grateful. Thank you, Sarah and team, for the Habibi chairs from Love Artisan, from Nabo Studio in the US also, who sent us a partnership contribution that really has helped us sustain.
Yes.
So let's talk about the nitty-gritty, not so easy part around money and budgeting and what it costs to do a podcast. Because someone recently said to me, I was saying to them, let's do an episode together. This is somebody I'm close to personally, but I thought it'd be kind of a cool concept. And, and then I said, what dates are you available? And then I'll share it with my team and we'll look and see if the technical team is available.
Yeah.
And they said, we need a technical team. It's just a podcast. I was like, oh, my love. Wait, you don't know. The struggle is real. Yes, it takes a team. It takes a village to put out these 45-minute, hour-long episodes. And that takes money. So tell us, what's the flip side that has been the other part of what we do, which is trying to keep this thing alive through money? What's worked for us? What hasn't worked for us?
What's worked for us is that we have been knocking on every available door that aligns with our values and what we're putting out.
Yeah.
We have been unapologetic about our ask and we will continue to be because even when we have our first couple of companies come on and we do have our first sponsorship that we're very grateful for. We will keep knocking those doors because we're not just doing this for us, but for all the other products that we want to be able to bring to fruition, through this organization. So, yeah, we've pitched.
We pitched.
Sure, we've
And we
had
have pitched.
meetings. We've done presentations and reworked presentations. We've worked on trailers so that where we are not able to use words, we have our product speaking for us. And that's actually been a very useful product because it's traveled so much further than our pitch documents and our meetings can go, that I believe there are conversations that we are yet to have because of the things that we have put out there. We've reached out to networks. We've used the 6 degrees of separation, someone who knows someone who can introduce us to someone. And we're only just beginning to feel the fruits of all of that hard work. But we won't stop. We will keep going because what we're putting out is an exceptional entity, and we are building something larger than just this podcast. And we definitely need all of the resourcing that we can put together. We're so grateful that our executive producer has enabled this to keep going. But we want to be able to give you the support to keep the doors open and to make this larger. You can't come to us, say less.
Yeah.
We're on our way to you in Addis or Lagos or New York or wherever. Also because certain offerings are done better in person when you're able to experience the world that these people are telling you about. And we want to give that to our audience.
Yeah,
so we are knocking
absolutely.
on those doors.
We have stayed knocking since
Mad.
day one. It
Yeah.
was like create content, knock doors.
Come on.
Create content,
And
knock doors. Yeah.
Again, just to speak to that is again, ensuring that we've been, and I keep saying this, but ensuring that we remain consistent has been the thing that has enabled us to even keep, knocking on doors. And because, we always have content, we're always putting something out so that, we, even when you're approaching people, it's the work is there, the episodes are there, the content is there, even the growth is there. You can track it from the first episode we released to now, how much our listenership has grown, how much our following has grown on social media. Shout out Njoki. How much our engagement has grown as well. All those things kind of, have come a long way. We've come a long way with every aspect of building this thing continuously. And, it's like Becky said, we're starting to see the fruits of that labor. We just can't. It's always like we can't stop now. We have to keep going.
And just to piggyback on what Rahma is saying, it's really the teamwork that we have that enables us to produce the content, have the guests coming in, and still have the meetings going on. So we'll each reach out to our networks, get the meetings going. Rahma is our deck queen, so she'll be working on the presentations with our graphic designer. Njoki will get us the stats that we need for social media. You and I are taking meetings. If we have more than one meeting that day, we'll split up.
Yeah.
It's really the power of building as a community.
As a community and a community of women, I have to say, no disrespect to our brothers.
Please say
we
it
appreciate
again.
them. But I think the ability of this team to multitask at the level at which we have had many days where we have had a pitch meeting, a development of a new deck, and a recording with a brand new guest, because every guest is brand new to us,
Yes.
all in the same day.
Yeah.
Outfit changes, location changes, mental switching between. And I really appreciated the team's ability to just do that. And it is hard. I think it's important to just say it is hard. It's worthwhile work, but it is, we want to put out an excellent product. So that means careful edits. And again, appreciation to our technical team for taking those edits sometimes on a Sunday night, on a Monday morning early before the episode drops on Tuesday to change this 30-second clip. And yes, we do send things back for a 30-second, a 20-second adjustment. And Stephen, to your credit today, he said to me, I want to give you a product that you love. And so knowing that we also have that technical support makes a difference because we want to respect our listeners' time. When someone gives you their time, to me, that's their most precious commodity, So, but let's talk about what hasn't worked. What are some things that maybe we were doing that we've left behind, that were just not worth our time or energy? I'll start, because the one thing I think about immediately is like we've stopped posting on Facebook and Twitter. We're just like, okay, where's our audience? Where do they live? So we saw they're on Instagram. They are on TikTok increasingly. And then they're on YouTube. YouTube has really always been basically a podcast.
Yeah.
Now that we all have to do visual. So we stopped putting energy into like a Facebook strategy, a Twitter strategy, or even creating, formatting it for those platforms. And that's been, I think, a good move.
Yeah.
We have done some stuff. We have automated some stuff like the introduction letter, the follow-up letter. They're the same. It's copy-paste. We're just adjusting. So we've automated some systems, which I think have been good for us.
Yeah.
What are some things that we're not doing anymore that just we thought, no, it's not us?
We've streamlined a lot of our processes.
Yeah.
That and that was a function of sometimes in the beginning we're kind of we want to edit a document. Not a document. Like we're editing an episode, and everybody's reaching out to our tech team at different times to say,
Right.
these are my edits, and these are my edits, and these are my edits, and it's like, okay, can we just kind of consolidate maybe all this communication and all this, the editing process, making it more streamlined to make sure that feedback is given quickly, and then the product we receive the product quickly as well. Like you said, reaching out to guests, like instead of kind of drafting a new message every time you want to reach out to a guest, we have our standard template. This is who we are. We love your work. We love what you've done with XYZ, and we would want to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Would you be willing? And it's and it's kind of, it's simplified things. So even when I step away for a week and I'm not around, then somebody else is able to just kind of pick it up and like continue going. Which makes things a lot easier. But before we got to that point, obviously it was a lot of figuring it out. Sometimes you're like, does this sound like Lilly? I don't know. Does it sound like Rahma? Who wrote this email? So it's just kind of like creating a coherent voice and a cohesive voice that
really
that if it doesn't matter who reaches out to the person or who's booking or who's scheduling the recording. It's in the Selam Hello voice. So this is the Selam Hello team that has reached out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Very true. Becky, advice for new creatives. We've kind of talked about what worked for us, maybe some things that we're not doing anymore.
Yeah.
But when you think about somebody else who wants to produce a new podcast or a new creative project of any kind, where would you say they should start?
After they have decided what that thing is and are very clear on what their niche is, who they are talking to, don't do it alone. You can always find allies that can help you create, and you might not have the funding to pay them for, but in this day and age, you can always barter services for services. So I'm an accountant. I want to start a podcast on accounting, and you're a videographer. I'll barter you accounting services for your videography professional skills. Before you know it, we have a podcast going on. And know what everyone's role is when they're doing the job. So just to piggy on what Rahma said, even on this set, in the very beginning, we were all doing everything.
Right.
So Rahma and I would both be producing, both be giving instructions, both be coming to veto the last frame
And I would also do the
on
same
the
thing, be like,
camera, and
also
you'd come and do the thing as well. But now we're very clear on who does what, and everyone owns their chain of command, because it just makes it easier for people to know this is who I pick up on for this and that. So have a team or a group of allies, create together, be very clear who you want to speak to, what your niche thing is, and then just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Don't overproduce it. You learn as we go. Yeah. Fail
absolutely.
fast, but fail forward. Yeah. And even the feedback that we get, some of it might be a little harsh in the beginning, but that's also how you get better.
Wait. What was harsh? Me?
No, I mean, like when you're failing,
Oh, yes. Failing is harsh.
when you're
Yes.
starting and you're failing and people are coming on your YouTube to comment and be like,
Yeah.
I mean, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that is a way for you to figure it out for the next episode and the next episode and the next episode. Also, once you've put yourself out in the public eye, if you're willing to receive the love, be willing to receive the negative feedback as well. It comes with what you have exposed yourself to. Instead of thinking of it as negative feedback, look at it as a way to adjust or not. Because not everything you get out there
is for you.
is
Yeah.
necessary for you
Yeah,
to adjust.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you feel like have there been times where I'm trying to think back to when we've gotten negative feedback and how we handled it?
I can think of 2 instances. I think the first one will be when we first had the episode with Kevin Washiro, when we dropped the Instagram reel on Instagram, and someone's comments were very much not in support of the conversation that we were having, and I think for us initially we're kind of shocked and didn't know how to handle it, and I can't remember what we did.
I think I remember deleting at least one comment, and I remember I think you or Becky said, "Don't delete it again. Leave it there."
Yeah. So So it was like maybe engage with the person in a way that kind of like ask them questions. Have you listened to the entire episode? Have you engaged with the episode in its entirety, as opposed to just kind of like this 30-second clip? Because obviously what you see in social media, you might not go onto YouTube and listen to the whole, or watch the whole thing, or listen to the whole thing on wherever you get your podcast, but you react to that one clip, but it was such an incredible conversation in its entirety, and that person has missed out on that entire conversation. And this happened also this is the same thing that happened with Alaba's episode, where she was talking about the skin bleaching industry, and somebody was again like, that doesn't really happen here anymore, and I don't think we responded, but Alaba responded, and her sentiments were very much the same. Have you engaged with the episode in its entirety? Have you, I can't speak to the Kenyan context, but this is very true in the Zambian context. And, it's a very real thing. Colorism is a very real thing. Just because you're not experiencing it doesn't mean someone else out there in the world isn't as well. So I think we've learned to kind of, deal with those things a little better. Like we see the comment, we don't delete it, but we just kind of encourage that person to kind of, reflect on the whole thing. Don't take this snippet that you get on social media to be a representative of the entire episode, although there are very profound moments that we share on social media. But our conversations are so amazing and timeless, and if you just take the time to engage with them, you'll learn something from them. I think so.
What do you think the value, though, is of that criticism? I think I'm just thinking about, even for myself, what I've learned from that feedback. And you're right, it definitely feels different now than it did in March, which is when I think Kevin's episode came out, maybe March, April, to Alaba's, which was in October. That's, 6 months gap where we had a chance to learn and grow and stretch. What do you think, though, the value of critique and criticism is? Because it comes, we do hear things. Even me as an Ethiopian in a Kenyan media space, I constantly self-aware about what does that mean, and is that a good thing or a less than? What are your thoughts on that, Becky?
There's some people who will come on and they'll give you really good feedback. So I don't look at that as criticism. It may rub me the wrong way because it may be anti something that I thought we did really well, and they're saying, actually, you could have done this better. But on the socials, that's rarely the case. That's rarely the case. People will come on to bash. There's a lot of projecting of people's own, whatever is happening internally or in their world, on other people. So I've learned to look at it with a different set of glasses where I'm able to sift through. Like I said, not everything that is put out there, it may be good feedback, but it may not be the right feedback for us, because we are very clear on what we're putting out and what the intention is, who our audience is, and what the call to action we are hoping for at the end of that episode is. So while they may be well-meaning with their feedback, it may not be the right feedback for us, because they don't know why we put out what we put out. But some of it, I'll look at it and I'll be like, actually next week, let's do this differently, guys. This person took the time and they've analyzed this thing, and this is how they think we should. The lighting is too harsh. Okay. Let's soften it. Lilly needs to swap seats. Swap. Let's see how it looks.
And I think when it comes to the content, sometimes, we might, because we spend a lot of time together. We're one team, and while we have differing opinions on certain things, sometimes we're very aligned on other things, right? So I feel like when the criticism comes, and sometimes it shines a light on like something that you hadn't considered, and they're like, oh, we really never thought about it this way. I'm trying to think of a specific example. I know the feeling. I know we've had experiences where we're like, oh, okay, maybe we didn't see that side of this conversation, or we didn't really consider that, and maybe that then becomes it broadens our thinking when every time we're looking at episodes, and we're now trying to be as non-partisan and very objective with how, even though we have people that we celebrate on the show, we know that sometimes this might be a controversial topic, so we need to handle it delicately and make sure that everybody who's watching it is aware that we see them and we appreciate their stance on certain things.
Ijoma's episode. Yeah. Ijoma's episode first was our most interactive in terms of comments. And it also helped us see how we may have focused a lot more on the personality, but thankfully the conversation veered to the work, and the work is what got people.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is something you brought up in our last production meeting, where you said maybe we need to pay a little bit more attention to beyond the personality, which we always do, but a little bit more just work focus.
Yeah. Because I think we were thinking about it as people, when they look at content, they're also looking at themselves. Like, what am I going through right now? How do I see myself in this conversation? If they can't see themselves there, they may or may not engage. We had someone sent me a message this week about the Titsi episode that we just did. Titsi Dangarembwa, the Zimbabwean author. And so one was from a Zimbabwean who's like, oh, we adore her here. So glad you're interviewing her, which reminded me that we are a Pan-African platform, and so we have to live that out in the content we put out, which I want to talk about in a second, about being in the Kenyan context and what that means for us. But then the other person was, just saying they hadn't read any of their books. They're a new writer themselves, and they looked at it completely differently. It wasn't about her being Zimbabwean or being a woman. It was just about being a writer and what they were taking from it as themselves as a writer, and some of the craft they could learn from her. So it's hard, because we want to delight our listeners, and some of them are going to be delighted because this is a person they identify with for any number of reasons. And then other times they're just delighted because it came to them at a time where it was right for them. And so we have some misses in there. We have some episodes where we didn't get the traction we thought we were going to. And other times we're surprised. I will keep mentioning Alaba's, but I was surprised, and I thought people were going to resonate with her because she's a Rhodes Scholar, and we have somebody who has a kind of globally validated indicator of their academic contributions. This is somebody who knows what they're talking about. But really it was because people could relate to the topic. So even if it was just us, maybe Alaba is also special. So I don't want to take away the fact that she was the mouthpiece for the conversation, but I just really saw that topic was important to people. They want to understand it. They are engaging with it in their own lives. And that does delight people when they can see themselves in the show. Let's talk about the Kenyan media creative landscape, which both of you know very well. And that's the industry that you work in exclusively. I'm aware that we've also been chatting for a while. So maybe just in brief, what for each of you would be something that you're thinking that, number one, you want Selam Hello to contribute to that creative industry here? And then secondly, is there space in a Kenyan creative economy for non-Kenyan voices?
I'll start with the second question. I think 1,000% yes, if Selam Hello has shown us anything, is that, where you've been on the continent for 16 years, I'm going to get this right, and in Kenya for the last 12.
Thank you, Rahma. Thank you for knowing me.
Wow.
Thank you for knowing me.
I feel like we should swap seats.
But yes, you've been in the country for a while, but still it just goes to show that your worldview is very worldly, and there's that to add to this space, right? If we have more Ethiopians, if we have more Tanzanians, more Ugandans, more Cameroonians, wherever you may come from, then I think adding those voices to the Kenyan creative industry, all that does is make it a much richer tapestry that we can continue to weave into and add and add stories and people who just make this experience more valuable for everyone, right? I don't think we need. I think the continent has a lot of talent and a lot of power, and I feel like if we just kind of embrace that, then 1,000%, everyone benefits, right? And we kind of, and it also spreads our message wider and further across, right? So when you're speaking to the Kenyan creative space, you're not just speaking to the Kenyan creative space, you're speaking to a Pan-African space, and your voice becomes a Pan-African voice instead of a Kenyan voice, right? That's what I think about that. But what was the first?
Well, the first one was about kind of what we want Selam Hello to
such a
contribute.
good
And maybe
answer.
Becky can take that. But
Yeah.
but I want to just push you, not push you, Rahma, but push on this idea continually about non-Kenyan voices in this space, because we've seen our Kenyan audience grow.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the things I feel most proud about.
Yes.
But then I think that it's all the imposter syndrome feeling, right? Like, how can I acknowledge, be in this space and not just speak to elite Kenyans or just Nairobians, you know? And I think in this last or recent episode we did around the war in Palestine, one of the things that we were trying to achieve is also acknowledge what's happening in the continent. Like, we, of course, acknowledge and are heartbroken for what's happening in Palestine and Israel, but we are equally devastated and paying attention to Congo. We are equally concerned about the 19 million kids not in school in Sudan. You know, we are very much connected to the heartache in Ethiopia that feels never ending. And in the top of all of that, here in Kenya, we have our own, like, this debt crisis is crushing people. So I always feel the sense of like, I've got to acknowledge the ground on which I'm standing, but do it in an authentic way. And I don't speak Kiswahili. So there's that gap. So I don't know, when you think about that, as if you flip the switch now and you're the consumer, you're the listener, and you come across a product like this, that's not a Kenyan at the forefront, not a Kiswahili anywhere in the background, even though I try my little kidogo words.
Try.
How does that land with you as consumers? Becky, maybe you can reflect on that. You know, because you consume
like
content.
I do.
Yeah.
And I consume a lot of local content.
Yeah, you do. You're always the one who's like, we need to talk about this is happening here. And I'm like, who? Who's that again? And then I've gotten into some hot water for not knowing who some people are.
Yes.
Yeah.
But because I consume a lot of local content, I know that there's places I can plug into if that's what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for a Swahili-speaking, Kenyan-born, Kenyan producing content type of podcast or other media offering, I know where to get that.
Yeah.
But this is different because you're looking at what's happening in the country from the lens of someone who's in the country, but possibly not of the country, but of the continent. And the thing that makes your conversation so engaging, and I promise I'm not saying this just to hype you, is your curiosity. You do not have access to all of the information, but you're highly in tune with your curiosity that you want to know it from their perspective. And I think that's what makes what we do on Selam Hello so special, that you don't come in with your Kenyanness and I know how this is affecting us, this is about us. It's I really want to get it from your perspective. I resonate with what's happening here as an African, as a child of the continent, a child of the soil, but I want to get it from your perspective. I want you to nuance it for me. So if I'm looking for a Swahili-speaking show, I know where to get that. But I know what it is that I get when I come on Selam Hello. It's joy, it's justice, it's curious conversations. And even when I have someone when I'm watching someone that's been interviewed somewhere else, I always know that the conversation will take a different direction. Yeah.
So essentially, you've answered the first question. It's just what do we want to contribute? And it is that, I think. Yeah.
But also, in addition to what we want to contribute, the Kenyan creative economy is really buzzing right now. There's something that happened right after the pandemic that's been beautiful to watch. And we've gone from a place where people used to talk about being creatives. I'm a director of photography on paper, but not having been actively engaged in the creative economy for years and years and years. But then we've had a lot of people coming in. There's a lot of interest in the continent and in Kenya in specific. And so we've had a lot of jobs creation. So I know that what we are offering is definitely timely. We have been creating jobs on Selam and Hello. Yeah. We will continue to create jobs in Selam and Hello, but we will also keep giving a spotlight to our own rock stars. There was a time when you asked people who their heroes were in music or in acting, and people would always call out Europeans or people from America. But now we can talk about Sauti Sol and have them on Selam and Hello.
Yes,
because this is where we showcase and spotlight the goats. You're welcome. So I definitely feel like what we're doing is so timely and we've barely scratched the surface.
We're just getting started.
So sharing a spot. So being a part of this vibrant creative economy renaissance, and also continuously shedding a spotlight on our superstars, our heroes, the ones that have been, that are already well known and the ones that are yet to be well known. That conversation we had with those Gen Zs, a lot of those guys are going to be so big in this industry in years to come. There was that one kid who's an artist manager. The kids that used to handle our audio and production and those
Rick
ones.
And Ernest. Shout out Rick, Ernest,
Thomas.
Thomas.
When they're receiving
Silas,
their Oscars and their Grammys, they better remember us. But that's what I'm.
That's so positive. I we really are. I think what everything both of you are saying just is saying to me that we are really trying to be who we say we are, and our values, the way we work, who we work with, who we spotlight, who we promote. So let me turn the camera again inward to us as we kind of wrap down our conversation. This is going to be a 3-hour episode. That's okay, Stephen. Just enjoy.
I'm so surprised by how long we've been here talking.
I know, it's because you guys were at the beginning.
I was like, this is going to be sharp and short.
In fact, we usually have Rahma standing there with the 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I have no idea how long we have talked.
Stevie, you're failing us.
It's about 15
An hour, 10 minutes.
No way.
Wow. Okay.
Let's wrap this. Let's land this plane. But I have 2 more things I want to ask. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look inward. What can I do better?
It's like she wants our contract to end.
It's that bad. You have to say so bad. It's contract ending. Wow. Guys, it was fun while it lasted. What can I do better? I know exactly. I have 2 or 3 things in my mind. But I
for us?
No, for me, what I can do better.
Hey, Rahma.
Just say it.
Release.
Please don't sink
Relax,
this ship. You go
release.
first.
Release.
Becky, why are you not making eye contact with me anymore?
I think it's just, I think it's definitely when something is your baby and it's close to your heart, you really want to be close to all the elements. But we got this. We got you. Don't worry. Don't stress.
So diplomatic.
Please
I don't know if you work in creative. This is your governance. You're like so diplomatic. So you're saying I'm too invested micromanaging.
No. I wouldn't call it.
Becky's neck is saying that.
Okay, so I'm not saying.
I'm going from.
Is this gonna be in the final cut? I'm like, could you cut this out? But but no, I don't know if I would call it micromanaging. It's just that it's definitely we get it. This is your baby, and you want to see it through. It's just sometimes even when you're feeling overwhelmed, you still want to, be. So sometimes it's okay to just be like, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'll step back. I have a team for that reason. So, and that's what we're here for. We're here to kind of support you and make sure that this thing happens the way in your vision and in our vision now. Yeah. So now we've all unanimously decided and we've talked about it and we know that we have the same vision. That is the ground we stand on. So don't worry, you can trust that, the thing will be done.
Thank you, Rahma. You've never disappointed for sure. I've never been like, can we do this or we should this and it's not happened ever. But like you said, I think it's the hands are too long into the soup or some idiom like that. Too many cooks. I don't know what it is. Something like that. Long fingers in the soup, Becky. So tell me, Becky, what do you think I could do better? As a host or as a partner in this thing?
I think you're doing really well as a host and as a partner. You could trust, period. But ultimately, I know that being the executive producer bit is a little heavy on your shoulders. I just want you to keep walking in the assurance that this isn't coming to an end.
Yeah.
We'll just keep pivoting. I feel like that's the thing that's constantly at the back of your head. And I get it. As a business owner myself, I get it. I know there's times when you're always like, this is it. If we don't figure out how to make this next 3 contracts work, I don't know how I'm going to continue sustaining the team. But I also know as a believer that there's times when you have to walk in faith and just in the audacity of your gifts, your talents, and the product that you're putting out there, and that people will resonate with it. So for me, it's let's not have an end. Let's just have infinity.
And beyond.
And beyond.
Yeah.
That's very inspirational. Thank you both for your constructive feedback. I'll put it in the job performance reviews.
I told you, Rahma.
The thing is, the funny thing is, I thought
great.
you guys were also going to say stuff like, I definitely feel that, because there have been at least one time, I remember, I almost definitely was like, that's it. This was fun. Peace. I'm out. I'm done. I almost felt broken by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's a very real feeling, because like you said, when you're up at 3 a.m. for like the 8th week in a row, or when yet another contract does not go through, or yet another person does not pull through on their, seemingly enthusiastic engagement with your product, and all of a sudden something you thought was definitely going to happen does not happen.
Yeah.
It's no way, it's hard to not take it personal or not feel exhausted by it. But the other thing that I do a lot of is I say the words, I think. I was listening to some podcast yesterday. I was editing one, and I was like, why am I saying I think all the time? I just know. I just need to delete the words I think.
No, you've gotten better.
But I say it a lot, don't I?
In the beginning, you used to say a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
But,
And I used to talk after everybody talks. I'd be
Yeah.
like,
yeah. Oh, I have one piece of feedback for you.
Here it comes.
This is you.
Okay.
The whole time someone
Nodding.
is talking. And it's non-stop.
It's so
Sometimes I'm
bad.
usually like, can she make it longer? So it's like the up and down, the
Instead I'm like-
up and down. But it also just shows just how good a listener you are. Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of times I watch how other people interview so I can improve my own skills.
Yeah.
So I was doing that this weekend. And of course, like the shining star example, perfection person in the world is Oprah.
Auntie Oprah.
Auntie Oprah. But
Yeah.
I also was like, she also has, 25 years on me. So
Yeah.
I'll get there. But then there are a lot of other people, and I try and pick up some styles, because you're right, I am definitely like, but that is, I think, to make up for saying, Like, instead of doing that, I'm just doing it with my body. Yeah. Poor Stephen, I'm always like, cut me out of the face, go to a white shot. Because I'm like, I see myself bouncing off the stage. But,
Yeah.
okay, last question before we wrap. What's our dream? What do we want next in 2024? Where are our hopes set? Either a guest we want to book, a topic we want to tackle, an opportunity we want to seize.
Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah is on
Brother
our
Noah.
vision board.
He
He's
is.
on the
Yeah.
vision board. I feel like that's a guest that we would
And
definitely.
he started a podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
And actually, so I saw like a post on LinkedIn, and somebody was talking about how there's a lot of great podcasts from, all over the world, but they don't really have a grasp on the African perspective. And they're like, so what, I'm looking for podcast recommendations around this, this space, people who kind of get the African perspective and like communicate it well. And he was like, here's some of my recommendations. And he goes, Trevor Noah's podcast was the first one. And then the second line was, would Lilly Bekele Piper's Selam Hello be the solution? And or something
here is done.
something along those lines. I said, you said Trevor Noah, and then you said Selam Hello. I was just like, listen, we're getting closer.
We're getting closer. We're
Yeah.
in the
We're
same
getting
sentence.
closer. When somebody is thinking about Trevor Noah and thinking about us within the same conversation, we're getting there. Yeah.
Getting there. Cheers to that. We're about to break open a bottle after this show. Based on that.
Hey.
Yeah. Trevor Noah's a dream, 100%.
Yeah.
Bex, how about what do you see as a dream hope for 2024?
Not just guests.
Anything.
Because on guests, I have cousin Lupita, Auntie Oprah, Uncle Tyler. But for this to be one of the many offerings that we are working on, we have dreams to open up a studio, to be able to incubate other podcasters and other creative offerings on the continent. We don't want what we're creating here to die with us. So we definitely want to be an outpouring to the younger generation, to be able to give them the skill sets and the resources, and for us to be able to equip them to keep growing what we have here. So as the creative space is growing on the continent, I want us to be a big fundamental part of that growth and impact, not just in words, but in action also, and also in policy. Yeah. For us to be able to have the kind of guests on this podcast and our other offerings, such that we can be able to bring in some change in our advocacy work, to policy with the creatives, some taxation here, some rebates here, or the president is doing this because Selam and Hello have pushed for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how you're thinking. I think it's so important. +1 to both of what you have said. If I think about guests, there's so many. One person I hope we really have in 2024 is Timnit Gebru. She used to be head of ethics for Google. She's an Eritrean computer scientist, now started her own foundation and organization. And I think as AI interrupts our lives more and more, for good and sometimes for not, I'm so delighted that at the helm of how AI is developing and how people are thinking about it critically is an African woman from East Africa. And I really hope we can get her on to talk about this more. And then Wale Soyinka, playwright, the Nigerian playwright, just one of a kind, top of the list. There's so many, but... and, as I think about what's next too, early in this year, we talked about doing some short films, about taking our podcast episodes when they really land with us a certain way and following that story outside of the studio, taking that story on a trip and following it to its roots. I really want to see 2024 at least bring one of those stories to a short film.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. We just need partners. But yes,
they're coming.
They're coming. See, this is why you need a team, because I'm definitely like, they're not coming. Becky's like, they're on their way. Actually, they're on their way. I'm like, I didn't invite them. She's like, I did. So we need that team. Well, ladies, before I let you go, you know what's coming. What's your favorite drink?
Coffee.
Kahawa's king.
Right now, I am really feeling... Can I plug in a brand?
Why not? Hey.
So Java House have this peppermint mocha.
Okay.
Friends.
For the holidays.
Let me tell you, when I tell you Christmas is Christmasing.
It's Christmas.
It's
Java
doing the thing.
mocha.
Yes. I also like the Malindi macchiato.
I love the Malindi macchiato.
Yeah.
But then I always say low sugar. I like give me all the flavor, cut the sugar a bit, but I love...
That's not my testimony in
That's
life. No. Cutting
You don't
sugar,
claim it?
that's not my testimony. No.
It's hilarious.
That is not God's call for your life.
Nope.
That's
Not
your
at
ministry.
all.
That's not a ministry. Okay, Rahma, what's your favorite drink?
It's okay. It's not a PG program.
I'll say a passion iced tea. Just,
Okay.
I'll say passion
tea.
iced tea. Yeah.
Rahma, you're lying.
Do you make it at home or what?
From Java.
Wow, Java better come on. They better come
Java.
through.
From
Come on.
yeah.
We have space on our lower thirds for your logo.
I'll give you the space on the lower, the middle, and top.
Come on.
Yeah, but I'll say for sure.
Yeah?
Passion iced tea. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll keep it. I'll keep it
Yeah.
there.
It's a
PG.
I'll
daytime
leave it
program
there.
today.
Yeah, I'll leave it there
We'll do
for
Rahma
today.
after dark. And we'll ask her what her favorite drink is. And I think I've talked about my favorite drink. People have asked me multiple
You can say it
times.
again, please.
Well, the problem is I have so many. It just I am so I'm a chameleon. Like when you say Java, I'm like, that's my favorite drink.
Yeah.
When she says passion tea, I'm like, I love passion juice. So I am not. I love a cold sparkling water though.
Oh, me
That's
too.
when I need
Yeah.
like a pickup, wake me up. Cold sparkling water does it for me for sure, amongst other things. Hey. Okay, so ladies, I am really looking forward to hearing what your response is to this, because you two both have brought me tremendous joy. I feel like I start off as a business opportunity contractor, but you have become friends. We have celebrated birthdays together, life events. We have been up late at night, early in the mornings. We've shared meals. I feel so fortunate that you are part of my life, truly, and you bring me joy. I'm so grateful for you. I thank God for you both. So,
Thank you.
on that note, what is bringing you joy today, Miss Muikia?
Well done.
Which I said the first time too. Anyway, what is bringing you joy?
Two things. number one and forever on my number one list is my family. I love those guys. They are my everything. My mom is home for the holidays, so it's good to have everyone together. Love my brothers, love their kids and their families. And second on my joy list is there is a certain production that we have been pitching for since September 2022. And we just got greenlit last week on Friday. Let me tell you, the way the joy is bubbling and overflowing.
Awesome.
But we've also stepped into a bit of imposter syndrome. You know, when you want something so much, then you're like, they said yes.
It's finally let
That
your
is
door.
my ministry.
To us, let's step away from that ministry.
Have the chair and founder.
Yeah, we hope we can be able to
every
come
good
here
thing,
and speak
Becky.
on it soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have the mic. It will be
Yeah.
all yours. Awesome.
Thank
wow.
you.
Temascan, that's awesome.
You know, what's funny is that, like, I knew this was coming.
You're not
Somehow,
ready?
I'm still not ready for it. What's bringing me joy? I don't know if I can afford to not say my son, Kinza. Cutest little boy.
Sana.
You know, he's also so sweet, and he's talking now, and it's just so interesting to see his personality come alive, and to be like, oh my God, like, you're actually funny, and you're actually, you know, quirky, and I can see myself in the way you do this and that, and I can see your dad in the way you do X and Y, and that's really dope. It's a journey that I continue to treasure, and, you know, just kind of embracing and nurturing it. The other thing, I think this conversation has been, just reflecting on it has just kind of made me realize how much we've been doing this year, and how much work we've put in, and, you know, how much impact it has had in each of our lives. It's really great just to kind of sit down and be able to reflect with the team that you've been building with. So I think that's definitely been a highlight for me for today.
That's awesome.
Such
Yeah,
a
we have some
deep one.
celebrating to do before the year ends.
For sure.
To celebrate this year.
We have to ask you what's bringing you joy.
Gosh, you know, I probably have two things too, and I'll probably try not to say exactly what you said, but definitely my family too. I was thinking about this year felt like a big one between launching a business, sending two sons off to the next chapter of their lives. So when I sit down in bed at night, I just feel my cup is so full. So I realize I'm not always a cup half full person. I can be half empty. But when I think about my family, it's just my cup is overflowing.
Yeah.
They continue to teach me and love me, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And the second thing that's bringing me joy is, you know, I've spent my entire career not in this space, but wanting to be in this space. So I remember being 16 and telling my family, at the time, TV news was kind of the only way you could get into this space, and storytelling, impact, influence, culture.
Yeah.
And so I thought I want to be a news anchor. And, you know, not my parents, but another person in the family just said, oh, you shouldn't do that because it's risky. And so it kind of killed the dream inside me. And I've kind of been chasing it ever since. Gotten close sometimes, but never, ever stepped into it. And so even though we have big dreams yet realized, I do feel incredibly proud and joyful that we took a risk, and I feel so proud. Even if we unfortunately had to close in Jan because we can't pay, I'm just saying, if I would feel so proud.
Roll tape.
Cut that.
To the
Cut
thing I
it.
just said.
I know.
Cut.
I guess I'm just saying, I feel so proud of what we've done. We have lived who we are. You know, I am a believer. I'm a follower of Jesus. I am an inclusive person. I believe everybody has dignity and value. I am, you know, an educator. I'm a student. And I feel like this show has just given me a chance to be all of those things. And I'm really grateful for that. And it brings me joy. Yeah, I took a risk, gambled. And we're waiting for that. What did you say? It was going to be something good. A return, an investment, something.
All these good things that are coming.
Yeah,
they're
that
coming.
lower top and middle third would just be busting.
Look.
There'll be no room allowed. No room in the inn. Go home. Anyway, but thank you, both of you, for all that you are, who you are, what you bring to the show. To everyone behind the cameras today, Stephen, Weena, Xavier, others who have joined us throughout this journey. Mose. Who are some of the other cast members? Stephen, tell me. Shwani. Ray. Miss Salome, who's been catering for us.
Look.
Mr. John, who's been moving set and stuff around. Coco the dog, entertaining us.
Coco.
Njoki,
All of our
our community
guests,
manager.
Njoki.
our community manager.
Silas for the jingle.
Yes, which we got to pump up at the end.
Yeah.
Please listen to the jingle all the way. I wanted to say this. At the very end, there's this great like and it goes off, and it's this great guitar solo, which is him.
Yeah.
Listen to the jingle to the end on this one. It's so good. It's always there, but no one listens to the end. That's so good. We want to thank so many people, Sticks and Stones for coming in and being so clutch for us. The Dennis Ombachi episode, they just made it so fun for us. For friends who have agreed to be on the show, from Alaba to Sajid and Amin, and guests who have become friends. We've kept in touch with so many of you, Abdi, Kevin, others. It's been such a joy to just develop those relationships. Who else do we need to thank? People have taken meetings with us. Baraza Media Lab, AfriPods. They've come alongside and been our champions many times. All the people, all the Kenyan designers we like to wear. Thank you for putting out dope stuff.
Who does makeup?
Eve.
Eve,
Blanco
yeah.
Creatives. Has done my makeup. Whenever I have makeup on professionally, that's Eve. Whenever it looks like this, that's me. Or like this, that's me.
That's fine.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, we've been blessed. We've been blessed.
For sure. 100.
For sure.
Yeah. Njoki, we missed you on this
Missed you,
episode.
Njoki.
Yeah, definitely. We needed that.
She's our TikTok
We
magician,
needed her
community
energy.
manager. Yeah.
you know?
No, you guys came correct.
Yeah.
You came
Thank you for
correct.
having
But
us.
we'll try and do a little something with Njoki at some point.
Thank you for believing in us.
Thank
For
you.
allowing us to collaborate
For sure.
on this with you.
Yeah. Thank you so
To
much, ladies.
many more.
To many more. Infinity and beyond.
Hey.
What you said. That part.
That part. So listeners, thank you. Thank you most of all for listening this year. It has been such a privilege to have your time, to have your trust, to hear from you, for taking the time. When you comment, when you like, when you message us, we see every single one. And we don't take it for granted. We are so very grateful. You have taught us. You have inspired us. You have pushed and challenged us. You have given us opportunity to be a part of your story. So we are ever grateful. And as you close out 2023, we pray peace, blessing, good health, and every good thing to come your way. May your cup always be full and may it be brimming with joy. Thank you for being with us this year. And we'll see you in 2024.
I know some baby skies all the time.